Today, Botswana stands as a beacon of stability and prosperity in Africa, a miracle of democracy and development. But to understand this miracle, we must journey back to a time when this land was known as the Bechuanaland Protectorate, one of the poorest territories on earth. This is the story of a man who defied empires, overturned racism, and forged a nation from clay. This is the story of Sir Seretse Khama. For millennia, the San people were the sole inhabitants of these arid lands, their history etched into the very rock. Around 1,500 years ago, Bantu-speaking peoples, including the Tswana, began to settle, building sophisticated chiefdoms. Khama III was a shrewd and visionary leader. He saw the scramble for Africa happening around him. Appealing for British protection was not an act of submission, but a brilliant strategic move, a lesser evil to preserve the integrity of the land and the autonomy of his people against more immediate threats. And so, in 1885, the Protectorate was born. But in a telling sign of its perceived unimportance, it was administered from outside its borders, from Mafeking in South Africa. On July 1st, 1921, in the royal town of Sero, a boy was named Seretse, the clay that binds. The funeral of Sekoma, too, in 1925. A 4-year-old Seretse, hand-clasped tightly by his stern but caring uncle, Shikidi Khama, watches the burial. Shikidi places a hand on the young boy's shoulder, a gesture of heavy responsibility. A montage of Seretse's education. Archival photos of Tiger Kloof School. A reenactment of a young Seretse debating passionately at Fort Hare University, surrounded by other future leaders of Africa. And then, in a smoky London dance hall, history turned on a glance. The romantic theme is shattered by the flash of a camera bulb, a reenactment of their simple wedding. Seretse and Ruth smile, but reporters jostle outside the registry office. Newspaper headlines from around the world flash rapidly on screen. African king weds English girl. Scandal threatens empire. Apartheid fury. The British government was terrified. This was the dawn of the Cold War. South Africa was a critical ally, a source of gold and uranium. The choice was clear to them: sacrifice one couple or risk the wrath of a regime central to their strategic interests. It was a profound betrayal. The British exiled him for 6 years. But in a stunning act of defiance, the Bamangwato people refused to appoint a new chief. They waited for Seretse. 1956, Seretse, Ruth, and their young children descend from a plane. He is greeted by a hero's welcome, cheering crowds, waving branches. But a close-up on his face shows the weight of his sacrifice. He is returned as a private citizen, having renounced the throne. 1962, a dynamic sequence. Khama, now in a suit, speaks at a political rally. The camera cuts between his passionate face and the hopeful, captivated faces in the crowd. And on that day, the Bechuanaland Protectorate ceased to exist. In its place stood the free and independent Republic of Botswana. This could have been a curse, but under Khama, it was a blessing. He negotiated a revolutionary 50-50 profit share with De Beers. He championed merit over tribe and invested the revenues not in palaces, but in roads, clinics, and schools. His vision extended beyond borders, making Botswana a key sanctuary for those fighting for freedom across southern Africa. He gave us more than wealth. He gave us a foundation of democracy, of tolerance, of development for all. He showed us that our destiny was not written by our poverty, but by our principles. From the clay of conflict, Seretse Khama bound together a nation. He was the clay that bound, and the foundation he laid continues to hold firm.